Hello, this is Dave Wilhelmsen. I'm going to be teaching you an art lesson today. It's going to be a watercolor. We're going to start out with all your supplies that were listed. The watercolor paper. I have a palette that's like this, but you'll have your palette that I described. I'm only going to be mentioning colors, say yellow, green, like a blue, a red, and like a brown, if you have a brown on your palette. And there's also like a violet, but we'll get into the mixing later. So we're going to have fun. That's the number one thing. And if you had any of my lessons before, live in class, we were working with acrylics, but now it's watercolor. So I'm going to just go through like step by step. First we're going to do a simple drawing, very simple, and you can handle. It's going to be pencil and on the paper. It's going to be a still life, a fruit bowl, with like a little window in the corner. So I'm going to have you take a look at what I've done, the finished painting, and I'll go over that with you, and then we'll start the lesson. Ready for you? There it is. That's the still life I've finished. That's the finished look of it. And of course, as I said, we're here step by step to learn these techniques of watercolor. You'll notice that this is the fruit bowl. We have banana, orange, apple, and there's like a plum there, and some grapes that drape over, give a little character. The lighting we have coming in from the window over here. Okay, so the lighting's over there, and then you see the shadowing. You see the different colors. There's different colors going to overlay all of these colors. So now I'm going to get into drawing this. We're going to cover this up now, okay? So if you want to take a snapshot of that, we're going to come back to that later. I'm going to put now, the important thing is that you're going to be having your paper on the table flat. You have a tablet, which is the best way for you to learn to do this. I'm just putting it upright like this so the camera can see it, the video can see it. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to apply this paper, the watercolor paper, over. Okay, there we go. Get this straightened out here. Okay, now, first of all, we're going to be make a mark on the bottom middle, the top middle of your paper, and then on each side you're going to put a line halfway down on the left side, halfway down, and so it's on the middle of the left side, middle of the right side, middle top, middle bottom. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to draw another little mark between the middle mark and the bottom, on the left side and on the right side. What I'm just going to do is I'm just going to freehand that line across to meet. Okay, no rulers. Okay, there we got the line. Now that's going to be your table line in the painting, the table line. Now the middle, I'm just going to draw like where the middle is here, this line here coming up from the bottom. That's going to be the middle of our bowl. Alright, so now what we're going to do is like a half moon on the bottom here. Start between the left and the middle. There's a dot there. And then on the right side and the middle, you're going to put a dot there. Okay? So that's going to be where your bowl starts. And then we're going to dip. We're going to start there. We're going to go across and go from dot to dot there. Okay? And then it's like a smiley face here. And then we're going to go across here. There. You see like a smiley face, the top and the bottom? So you got that? Okay. Then I'm going to put like a little edge over here and a little straight line over here and a straight line there. Okay. Now in the middle, there's stuff in the middle here. Okay. We're going to go up on the bowl a little bit here, and we're going to draw this orange. The orange is like a lump coming out of the bowl. See what I'm doing? We're going to do an apple over here, which is like a heart shape. See that? that's leaning over on the left side of the bowl. Okay. Then what I have here is just some round circles, and if you can guess this, this is the grapes. I'm going to put a few on the top, and then it's coming out, spilling out onto the tabletop here. Okay, just free form. Have fun with this. The grapes laying here next to the orange. Then we're going to take from the top of the orange, we're going to start with the banana. We're going to start and curve it up so it's a little bit hanging over the edge of the bowl here. And then we join the line here and join the line there. And there you got your banana. Okay, so I'm letting you guys catch up here. You curve the line up. If you need be, erase, make some lines. This doesn't have to be perfect. We're trying to get into making a beautiful watercolor. And then last but not least, the plum is another one here. We could put the stem on the apple. Okay. What I'm also going to draw in is a shadow on the left side. It comes from the bottom of the bowl over to the very edge of the table. Okay. And then last but not least, up in this upper right corner, I'm going to put like a little window here. Coming down, not quite all the way to the bowl, like halfway between the top and the bowl, putting a window there. So add a little more character to the painting. Okay, so your drawing should look like this. The bowl laying on the table, you have the table, and then you have the orange coming up out of the bowl. You have the apple like a heart shape leaning on the left side. You have the grapes coming out, spilling out these little circles onto the table. You have the banana starting at the top of the orange, coming down. Okay, and then you have the plum that's just in the middle here, just like a half moon to a lump. Okay? So now, today I asked you to have 3 brushes, but today just going to use these 2 brushes. It's like a medium brush here. What it is a number 8 and a number 12. Okay? Number 8 and number 12. We're going to use most of them as going to be the number 8. The 12 is going to be used up here on the wall and the table. Okay, so now every time you have to wet your brushes. Let's wet the brushes. Okay, wet the brushes. And you have your glass of water and your paper towel. Okay, we're going to wet the brushes and we dab them out on the paper towel. Put them back next to your palette. So what it should look like is this. You're going to have them next to your palette, handy. Okay, your brushes. Okay, so now first thing I'm going to use my smaller brush, the number 8, the palette. What I want you to do now is, before we get started painting, you're going to wet each one. Mine are already like from the tube. I use these all the time. And for you, with your set, you're going to wet each color with clean water, okay, into each one. You're going to put water into each one here, okay. Each color gets it, so you're going to wet each color so they're ready to paint with. All right, now, before you touch, okay, you're going to touch each one. You have to wash out, hear that? It's in the water cup. You have to wash out your brush. And then you apply the water to each one, because we don't want to mix the colors from one color to the other. It's going to get muddy. All right, so now I'm ready. I'm going to start with the yellow. The yellow paint. I use this here, my palette here, just to make sure I don't have too much going on there with it. I add a little more water. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with, over on top of the apple, I'm going to put a little yellow here. I'm going to put a little brighter there. Okay. Then on top of the orange, I'm going to put a yellow. And on top of these grapes, on the top of each one, I'm going to put like yellow, okay? And then
what I got to do here is the banana. Last but not least, the banana. Okay? So now the whole banana I'm going to fill in with yellow, because I'll come back and we're going to put colors over colors. But you have to make sure your brush is wet. I keep dipping it into the water bowl, getting more yellow, and you know, it looks sort of faded. You want a little more brighter, okay? Kick it up a little bit more. So you have all of these grapes have yellow on them, okay? Now what we're going to do next is the green. Wash the brush out, tap it on the paper towel. Then we're going to go over to our green. And the green, I'm going to put on top of my yellow on the palette here. I don't want to take too much space up. I'm going to make it a greeny green. Okay? Now, right there, we're going to go for these grapes. Okay? Now the grapes, what I want you to do, I'm going to add more stronger here. Let me get my paper towel here. The grapes, I want to put it on the bottom half of the grape. Like half of the grape is going to be all. Okay, you see that? We're going to come back and give these more definition later on. Okay, so here we go. Look at all these grapes here. It's like a bundle of them. Okay. What I'm going to do is I'm going to add some green. You see that window up here? The window? What I got to do is I'm going to put like a little lumpy hillside there, my pencil, and I'm going to put green up there, okay? All the way down to the window frame, and then we're going to put this as a, okay, there we go. Alright, next thing we're going to do is we're going to mix yellow with, first I washed out my brush, put the yellow on the palette here, and we're going to try to attempt making orange. Yellow, wash out the brush, and we go over to the red, some red, and then we have red and yellow. Then I'm going to be making this my orange. See that there? Now I want to boost it up a little more, so what I'm going to do is I got to go back, I'm going to get more yellow, yellow. I'm going to go into the red, and I'm going to be doing this. See? Look. I don't want to go to, I'm going to only go so far up on that. I'm going to expose a spot of yellow here. So this way later on it's like a shine mark. Okay? But we're filling in the whole orange with that color for now. Alright, now we're going to go, since we're getting into that, the reds. How about this? We're going to go to the apple. Okay? And we're going to make it like a light red for now. So what we're going to do is wash out our brush again. We're going to go down, dip into the red on our palette. And on the bottom of my palette here, I have red. But I just want like a washed out red. You see that? Like a pinkish red. Because we're going to get into more colors on these fruits. Okay, there we go. Then I also want to apply red to the plum. Okay, that's going to be an interesting mix of colors here. I'm running. When you know your brush is dragging, you have to go. Now, I want to explain something. If you got a color that's going into a color, I use my paper towel. Look at this. I put it into the, sort of did this on purpose to show you, into the banana. Look, you see, I use my paper towel. I get it on a corner, and I get that. So I don't want all that. I don't want that trouble there. Now what I do is, I said, you know what? I'm going to fix that banana. I'm going to get the banana, and I'm going to put yellow in there. Okay? So it's yellow. And it's back. Now we're going to go back here, and we're going to take care of that. Everything's getting a secondary coat here, it looks like, except the banana. So we go over and we do the yellow, and we add a little bit of blue, okay? Get the yellow and a little bit of blue here, and we're going to go under the bottom part of the banana. This is sort of very light, but I want to show you. Here we go. There's the shadowy part of the banana, the bottom of the banana, okay? I want to do this bowl next. Now the bowl is going to be red and blue together. So I get my red, I washed out my brush, I get red, and I go back, wash my brush out, then I'll dip it into the blue. Okay, what I got is a real interesting color here. It's like a maroony color. You see this? I'm just having fun here with this. Now you see I have water. I might have to mix more paint. It doesn't matter if your colors are different, like different patches of color. It gives the painting character with the watercolor. Okay, you see this here? It's running because my paper is hanging vertically so you can see it. But I'm going to use my paper towel, and I even need help with this. See here, paper towel. So I don't want it running onto the bottom there. Alright, so you have a very light color here. It's all now at the same value. Okay, so the same value. I'm going to do a darker color in there, so I'm going to add more blue. And I'm going to add more red. Now I'm going to get into that. I'm going to go there, cut in, it's darker. We'll keep applying darker colors later on. Okay, and I'm going to touch the apple there. That's good. And on this edge of the bowl. Okay. Now, we're going to do blue for the table. I'm going to get my big brush now. Big brush. What we're going to do for the bottom is I'm wetting it. I'm going to wet even that shadow. See the bottom here? I'm going to wet this. Wet this. I'm going to wet the whole bottom with clear water. Okay. Okay, now I'm just going to take straight blue, put it on my palette here, straight blue, and I am going to work from the bottom up. I want the tabletop to be work from the bottom up. Go around that bowl. Okay. Okay, so now we got the tabletop, okay? Now, I'm going to do that sky up here. See the sky? I'm going to put a little more blue, strong blue on the top. See up here? Can you see that? Oh, you don't see that part up here. Okay, there we go. I'm doing up here. Okay, we're done with that. Now, let me get this camera back in place. Okay. All right, now how about the wall? Let's start with the wall too. We got our big brush. Now, with the wall, what I'm going to do is I'm going to have a yellowy, beigey color. So what I want to do is I want to get my yellow again, put on my palette. And I have brown, but if you don't have brown, you can add red and blue, okay? All right, here we go, up here, this. I'm going at an angle. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to leave that paint there for now, like those strokes. do with these strokes. I wash out my brush, and I'm going to do a wash of this. Watch. I'm going to go and scrub it a little bit. Okay, and I'm loosening up that paint, and I'm just getting it onto the wall like that. And that adds more character to the painting too. Okay, so now we're going to get back to the fruit. Here we go. First of all, that bottom of that bowl is getting to me. I think I'm going to tackle first. I still have color on my palette from that. And I'm going to add more red to it. Wash up my brush. Blue to it. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to just go along the bottom here. Okay, and I got that going. And I'm going to go like that, stroking close to the grapes. Wash up my brush, dab it on the paper towel, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to blend this, okay? See that? Look how nice that looks. Okay, there we go. And that shadow over there is going to be straight blue. So I'm going to get some blue. Wow. That when you wet the paints, they really, really are very bold. Okay, so here's some blue. I'm going to do the shadow here. On the left side of the bowl here. See that? And then, believe it or not, under these grapes I'm going to put a little shadow too. Okay, so now, we're going to go back to the apple. I'm going to start from left to right here. What I got here is a combination of different colors. I'm going to go, washed out my brush, I'm going to go into the red, okay? I'm going to put some into that dark color that I made with the bowl. And I'm going to go at the bottom of the apple here. Look how bright that is, that's deep color. And onto the right side of the apple. See that? Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to wash out my brush. Tap it on the paper towel. I don't want a lot of water on it. And I'm going to take this and blend it. Go back to my paper towel, get the paint off it, and blend it. Look at that. That looks great, doesn't it? Okay, so that's that. Now we're going to go over to the orange. I'm going to take that color there that I mixed, and I'm going to put yellow. I washed out my brush and put yellow. And we're going to get the red. I'm going to make orange, yellow and red. So this one here too, the bottom of the orange to the right side, because this is what we're doing here. And put dots around there. Do it again. I'm going to do a wash. I wash my brush out, and here, keep taping it. Take the excess water and color and tap it on your paper towel. Okay. All right, there we go. Now I'm going to tackle that plum. That's like a purplish color. So what I'm going to do, dip into my palette paint, and I got my blue going here, and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to do the bottom of the plum. Look at how nice and deep color that is. Okay. And then we're going to go here on the left side, and I'm leaving that exposed there because I'm going to wash out my brush and dab it on the paper towel, and then I like to get like a flatness here. There we go. And I blend that in. Okay. All right. Now I'm going to go to the grapes and put the green. I'm going to put some of that blue in the green. My green mixture that's on the palette. If you don't have a green mixture, just take your green, make a whole area of green there, and then put some blue in it. And underneath each grape, you know, like a backward C. I'm doing this here. Okay. Each grape here. See? Leave a little bit on the top there as a highlight, a shine mark. Okay, the ones on the bottom are going to get now more solid. They're going to do that solid color. Okay. I'm going to try to connect here with this and this. Okay. There we are with the grapes. Now we're going to hop over to the banana. I'm going to get yellow. Put it back in my yellow. I have yellow-orange there now. And that's going to be good for starting back here up against the orange. I'm going to put that deeper yellowy, slight orange, just very slight, and go around the grapes here and go along. And just go along here. Leave some open spot from the original yellow there. I'm going to take that same yellow and I am going to add some of this stuff that I made with the purple for the plum. I'm going to put that in the yellow because it gets very dark, the banana down here. See that? Okay. And what we got is a real dark, use your darkest color there. I'm mixing some blue and purple on there from the plum, and I'm putting that there. Okay. Come on that. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to cut in here. Oh, and I got a stem on that apple. I'm going to use some of that purple color. I'm going to just do that up there. Okay. There we go. Now, we're going to use, again, blue and red because we're going to do a... I gotta keep washing out my brush. I do not want to mix color into color. My colors of that. That's there. Now, I have that. And I'm going to put blue in there. Get a really deep, see that deep color? Red and blue. I'm going to go down here, the bottom of the bowl, the very bottom here. Okay, and then over here. We go around these grapes with this dark, dark color. And we're going to go around them in the bowl here. Just leave that there. We're going to blend that later. I want to go around here and use some more blue. I got to get more blue in there, purplish. Okay, I'm going around the grapes. You might find this a little difficult. Just go, you know, slowly. And as I said, use your paper towel if you get in trouble in that. Okay, and I got this here. Alright, that looks sort of weird, doesn't it? So blotchy. So what we're going to do is, I'm going to get this over here too. Washing out my brush. Nothing on it. It's sort of wet. I'm dabbing it down on the paper towel. And I'm going to go here. I'm going to go between the color I put down and the color of the bowl. And keep wetting it and blending it. I'm going that direction. You see the direction I'm going in? Bringing the color back to where it is. Okay. And now we're going to do the same thing. Wash the brush out, put the in the paper towel, and go around here and soften this. So these are softened. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go around the grape and like a wash. Very gentle wash. I'm dipping it into the paper towel again because I'm picking up a lot of paint here. Going around and around and around. Look at that. Look at that. On the paper towel. I want to put a little more water on my brush. Dip it on the paper towel. The paper towels are really important. Okay. Here, and I think we got a nice defined area. I'm going to put some patch in here between the bowl and the grapes. Matter of fact, I'm going to put a little deeper shadow under the grapes here with my dark purple. Cutting between the grapes, getting the shape of those. Dipping my brush in, rub it on the paper towel, blend it a little bit more here. I'm going to go back to this here on the let me just get this the orange, make it a little darker on the bottom there. that reddish purple mixture. Okay, so I think we're looking good. How do you think? I'm going to show you mine, and now I'm going to show you the original. This is your still life painting. Here we go. Let me try to get this off here. Right. So, has a little more character to it. You know, we got the stem. Oh, there's a stem missing there, but it's a plum. This is the orange, and I hope you have fun with painting. Your first watercolor here, our lesson, the still life. And as I said, if you have any errors that you want to clean up, wet the paper towel and dab it and try to remove some of the color. Soften it. Use your brush to blend any of the overruns or whatever. And thank you for being one of my students. Bye-bye.